Welcome to the Dr. S2-Ep.2 podcast. I have various U.S. and international accounting and tax designations, a master's in tax, and a PhD in business administration with a concentration in finance and accounting. Over the past 2 decades, I have helped several SMEs succeed. This podcast will provide strategies and resources to help startups and existing businesses thrive. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dr. S2-Ep.2 podcast. Of course, we know is a channel also, and a program. Just wanted to again appreciate everybody that has given me reviews, given feedback, and just being part of this program. I see you watching, encouraging everybody to subscribe, but just to say thank you. I think having feedback actually makes the program better and better and better, right? The goal, of course, is to make sure that your small business, your medium-sized enterprise, your small enterprise thrives, right? Okay, so we're in a new year, and so very excited. And one of the things I mentioned I believe in a couple of I think it's a question that was asked about, okay, somebody asked, can I travel? Is it okay for me to travel? And I talked about, putting things in order, delegating. And so I just felt that I should expand on that topic because, it has to be more than just you. You can't do it all. And usually, sometimes people already have a team in place, but they feel that they have to do everything. Now, of course, we're going to look at a couple of factors that will help you to delegate properly so that you can travel, you can, hands off some things. Even if you're not traveling, you don't want to, do everything. You don't want to do everything because that is counterproductive. And so I'm going to give you some tips or some highlights on what you really need to do to make sure that you delegate well. Okay. Now, the first tip is that you should make sure you document. What do I mean by document? Now, a lot of times, many people don't understand processes. The process, it could be you're into sales and there are certain processes that you have to follow. It could be that there's a program that you're running. It could be, anything, but sometimes, there are processes, right? Not every time, but sometimes. Now, if you're planning to delegate that responsibility, you should have things documented. You should have a process in place. And this is what we do. This is how this is done, right? Many people might say, oh, but I know sales, but it depends on how sales is done or how do you do sales in a particular business? You might bring someone on and you discuss this is what you're expecting from that person, right? Some people might not be experienced in sales, but they are hands-on. They can do something. They can do the work, but they won't be able to do the work if they don't know the process. So documentation is important, right? Documentation of the process, what you require, what you need to do to make sure that, that process is done correctly, okay? So that's the very first thing, document. It's very good to have documentation in your business. And, people might say, but my business is so small, right? Or somebody might be in the medium-sized arena, right? My business is in the medium size. You can say my business is medium size, or it's almost there. I know I have a couple of staff, right? So it's almost there. Whatever level is very important to document. Okay, it's already very important to document processes, right? Document processes. Okay. Now, the second point I would say is that what area do you want to delegate? What area you want to delegate? Okay, let me cite an example. I have a CPA practice, right? And I mean, I have bookkeepers working for me here and there. So I might say that, okay, a bookkeeper might work on something, right? Maybe, because maybe posting the entries, but I have an oversight to see if that posting is correct. Because it's not just putting things, a lot of people feel that, they just putting things in the software. No, I actually analyze to see if that is correct. Why is this figure, out of, why is it there? It could be that it was posted incorrectly. It could be because I might compare last month with this month. This is really out of whack. I mean, I don't want to use out of whack, but this is really off, right? I can, because I have the eyes, we all have the eyes, but the experience to know what it is, right? Some people are into sales, right? One thing they can delegate is that maybe leads. They might say that they want to delegate leads because they can follow up to really contact and have a meeting with their customer. So you have, sometimes you might say, okay, I don't want to delegate everything, or you could delegate everything. You might say, you know what, I want to be involved in this area. I want to give someone, maybe even maybe I gave an example of sales. You can say, I want to let someone handle sales 100%, right? Or you could say, I want a part of it to be handled. You have to determine, you look at your business and say, what area would be best for the person I'm delegating to, my staff, to handle. What area would be best, right? I prefer them getting leads, and I will finish it up. I'll close the deal, right? I prefer them making cold calls and getting me in front of a customer or a client, right? So that I can close the deal. So you have to determine, or you know what? I trust this person. I've seen how he or she works, right? I want him to take over this particular area of my business, right? So you have to determine what is it that you want to delegate, what part of your work, what part of what you're doing, right? I mean, as a business owner, you should be the one that is very productive. I mean, going after the responsibilities that actually bring revenue, right? You should not be doing the menial part of the job, right? Or the business, the business. You should not handle the menial part. I mean, every part of your business is important. So when I say menial, I'm talking about that doesn't actually bring the income, all right? So I'm not saying that when it's menial, I'm not referring to it as not important for the business. It is important. When I say menial, I'm referring to an area of the job that is not very does not bring income. So when I say no, I'm just trying to say it doesn't bring income, right? But it's still important for the running of the business. I hope we understand that. All right. An example, someone that is maybe taking the mail is important for the running of the business, right? But really is not really bringing the income that you want, right? So you should focus on that area. So that's the very first thing. Determine, of course, we talked about documentation. Determine where you want, you can delegate. What is it that you want to delegate? And then the next point is decide who you're delegating to. Who are you actually delegating? Who are you actually delegating, delegating to? I would say that because, you have to know your staff, right? Someone that is not very good, let's say in numbers, but is good in speaking, in sales, right? You should know that that's where the sales part is who you delegate sales to. When the person is a very good orator, the person can speak, can drive sales, right? Somebody might be good in just being a numbers person, right? But is not very good in, is not very, should I say, social outside. He's very shy outside the workplace, right? Or shy with people that they don't know. That you cannot delegate that sales to that person. So you have to know, who do you delegate this responsibility to? Who is it? There are so many people that have they have specific qualities. Now, it doesn't mean someone that is a salesperson that can speak, that can sell a product is not as important as someone that runs the numbers. So I'm not saying that, but just know who do you delegate to? Who do you want to delegate your business or a certain area? And someone can even deputize for you. Someone that is good in leadership, someone that is a very good supervisor, right? That's very, very important. Know who you're delegating to. Who are you delegating to? And also, right, another point is that I talked about documentation. You should also make sure anyone you're delegating to is very clear on your expectations. I see that a lot of times, even when people do evaluations, even within staff, they said the person didn't meet certain criteria, but have you really defined the criteria that the person should meet? So it's very important that the person understands expectations, right? What kind of expectation? What the person you're delegating this responsibility to, what is it that you're expecting from the person? Very important for you to really, really, really know your expectations, right? Let them know your expectations, because it's not like, they should know. No, very important. Let them know that your expectations, their responsibility. This is what you're expecting from them. Okay, so it's very important. Don't just delegate, they should know. They should know. You have to sit with them. And, I would say, because maybe they've been working with you for a couple of years, or say, okay, or a couple of months, and you've defined or determined that this person is very good to delegate this maybe sales to. You ask the person, okay, if I want to give you this position, what is expected? What do you think is expected? And then you can fill in the gap. So, we also need this. We also require this. Okay. And then also, it's very important that, you look inwards. Now, I know I talked about outsourcing. I'm a very great fan of outsourcing, because I know that, we have limited resources as a small business, right? I always say that when I talk to small businesses, I talk about limited resources, right? SMEs have limited resources. So I always talk about, yes, it's good to outsource, but before you outsource, we're talking about delegating. Look inwards. Before you outsource, look inwards. You have a staff that you're paying that staff, but are you maximizing that staff? Is the person really working 40 hours a week? Or it depends on how many hours, maybe 37.5, whatever hours a week that you pay the person for. Is that person really maximizing those hours? For example, if we're talking about things like marketing, right? Very good to outsource, but how about the person that is your staff? Before you talk about, outsourcing, let's look at delegating first, right? Somebody has some gaps here and there. The person can be on the phone and do their best to get clients for you. The person can be on the phone. What is the person doing, right? Before you outsource, right? So when we talk about delegating, I would say delegate, because sometimes business owners, they want to do everything. They want to put everything on themselves. And I will say no. So first, delegating is important. You might say, okay, instead of delegating, I'll outsource. No, look inwards first before you outsource. Because if you look inwards, it actually will save you money. Now, if you don't have that, right? If you don't have that, if you don't have the person that is working with you, then go ahead and outsource. Yes, I have a guest today, and as I finalize, let me see. That would have trying to. Okay, as I finalize the section 1 before she comes in and speaks. But okay, so another thing I look at is positive feedback. We're talking about delegating. Okay, positive feedback. It's very important that you have positive feedback. If you delegate, tell the person that, great job, you're doing a very good job. All right, very important. So I just wanted us to understand that delegation is actually very important. Just wanted to make sure that we understand that, so you don't have to do everything by yourself or on your own. All right. So hopefully I've been able to help somebody to explain why and how they should delegate. All right. Okay. So I have a guest today, and she is an event planner, True Elegance Wedding and Event Planning. And let me see if I can, yes, I was trying to get the view. Okay, True Elegance Wedding and Event Planning. She's here to, remember, we come here to share. She's here, she's given us the privilege of hearing some of her challenges. She's been event planner, and I've actually used her. So, but she's here to share anything any challenge she has in her business, so that anybody that's listening can actually, take from it in case they have the same challenge. So thank you, Shanna, she's the CEO of the company, for coming to share with us today. Really appreciate you. So I just want to ask you, just what are some of the challenges that you experience, within the company? You're a very good wedding and event planner. She's also into interior decoration. So what are some of the challenges you experience as a small business owner?
Well, first I want to say thank you for having me on. But I would have to say recently, one of the biggest challenges that I'm having is, of course, every company has their competitor. And lately, I found myself that there's a lot of new competitors wanting to hop into the wedding and planning industry. A lot of brides who have planned their own wedding and they're like, oh, I had so much fun doing this, so now I want to hop in and do it myself. And that's great. But of course, they're coming in with much lower prices as some of us who have actually been doing it for a while and have a little bit more experience. And so I don't know if it's just because of the economy we're in, or we don't know what 2023 is going to look like for us financial wise and things. But newly brides are choosing those who are less expensive than some of us that are a lot more experienced. So that actually has been a challenge for myself. And I've networked and connected with some other wedding and event planners, and they're all saying the same thing, that recently those new competitors are coming in and they're dropping some really lower prices than what we are. And so that's something that we're experiencing, and it's having us putting a little halt on us getting booked.
Okay. First of all, I want to really state, first of all, the very first point I would say is that know your value. That's the first one I think I would say. See, know your value. Now, a lot of people, it depends on the market you're looking at, but so many people, I wouldn't go with someone that has not planned weddings before. A lot of people feel comfortable, with experience. Now, I would say, number one, know your value. It's okay for them to other people to, make it maybe half your price, as long as you're not outrageously expensive. If you're within at par, I don't think you should undersell yourself. The right customers or clients will come. I would say, put it out there. Why should we come? Why should somebody come to you? Right. Why? Yes. There's an additional price, but why do I choose you? So I would say, if you have I don't know how you're marketing, but I would say, number one, put it out there that experience makes the difference, right? Put it out there that, and if somebody actually comes in and just, if they don't want to go with you, that's fine.
Right.
It's okay. You cannot undersell yourself. And I'm not saying that you can't discount it maybe a little bit, but if somebody just jumped into the market and has their own price, that's okay. You have to know your value. Sometimes it's difficult at the beginning, or, well, not really at the, because you've been doing it for some time. It's difficult to stand your ground at the beginning, but I guarantee you, people that know your value would always refer people to you. I would say, make sure you up your standard. Make sure when you finish, take your pictures, right? And make sure you let them know that this is what you can do. So, you should not be marketing like someone that is just coming into the market. You should show that why is it that they should come to you. And it's okay if, as I said, somebody comes and says, I can't afford you. There are people getting married all the time. There are events all the time. There are different kinds of events that, you plan all kinds of events. You plan weddings, you plan, where an event planner is an event planner. There are so many events, right? And so right. I would say, yes, you should also expand beyond weddings too, right? Go expand, because you're an event planner, wedding and event planning. So I would say, first of all, know your value. Make sure you know your value. Nobody know what you're worth. You know what I mean? Right. Yes, that because you have the experience and you've done a great job over the years, right? But people have to see that. People have to see what you've done. Why should I come to you as opposed to another person, right? What is in your package, right? What makes you different? Look into your package and see, are you really defining your package? What makes you different from them? It's not just, oh yeah, I'm a wedding planner. What is it that I'm coming to get from you, right? What are the things I need that you can provide? So you should be a solution to the problems that I know, brides, it's a big deal, and some of them are very, touchy because of that. So what is it that you can offer that other people cannot offer? So I would say, go back to the drawing board. Go back to the drawing board and sit back and say, okay, you cannot do business as usual. You should sit back and say, okay, what is it what makes me different from someone that has been, am I really showing my product? What is it that I can offer, right? Right. And then, stand your ground. If you stand your ground, I guarantee you that, if you solve more problems than other people and show me that you have experience and give real life scenarios, I'm sure you have real life scenarios that people have done something has happened and you were able to take control of the situation. So things like that is an experienced event planner has that above others that have not had a crisis before. And then, of course, let people review you, right? Let people that have had crisis and that, oh my goodness, they didn't know what happened, and then you were able to come in and take care of the situation, right? Let people, talk about you, right? Social media, let people, and then you also advertise on your page and let them know, yes, this is something that I do. I was able to solve a problem. I was able to, the bride was, or this event was supposed to go under, something happened with the event manager and with the location manager, and I was able to do this and do that. You have to, I would say, sort of brag about what you can do, right? You have to let people know, it's not pride here. You just have to let people know, right? So that's what I would say. Yeah, of course, don't outprice yourself, but do not undersell yourself. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any? I think we have time for one more question. Do you have any other challenge?
I think for me, just kind of starting out, my business has been going for about 2 years. So I am pretty much learning about, rebranding and marketing to a particular client. So I would say for me, sometimes I find maybe just a challenge in actually having the appropriate funding needed and the appropriate resources needed to make sure that I am marketing as best as I can for my brand.
Okay, now for marketing, you've been in business for about 2 years, so that means you've done a lot of events, right? Mm-hmm. I would say organic marketing, meaning that with the people you've done so many events for, right? As I said, over the years, have they recommended people? Have you asked them that? Yeah, that's one of the things. First of all, referrals, because referrals, right?
Absolutely, yeah, I have definitely. I've gotten referrals. joined a couple platforms that help you build your clientele. But still, I think it's just still been a little struggle of actually getting my.
What about networking? When I say another thing is, one thing about event planners, you guys have people that are photographers, that people that flowers, people that, networking, not just within the people that are wedding event planners, right? People that that complement what you do. The DJs, right? DJs,
yeah.
Like people approach a DJ. Oh, I want some. Oh, I'm thinking of because DJs. Some DJs are very busy, so they lock. They confirm the dates. I'll say they lock the date or they confirm the dates. So people outside, because every wedding planner is a wedding planning platform is, they're all competing for the same thing. But if you go to link up with a DJ, with people that take pictures, right? With what else? Someone that makes the flowers that you use, right? People that do wedding dresses, right? So you have to go beyond the networking of just wedding planners, right? You have to go into places that are beyond, your auxiliary contacts that supports what you do, right? So I would say that go more that way. A makeup artist, right? Go more towards like makeup artists. I know you have a couple, and I think you mentioned one time that makeup artists, and just generally, I just strongly believe that you should network in addition to being on the event planning, wedding planning platform. You should also network outside that. And then another cheap way to network is social media. Social media, getting on people's platforms, social media, let people get to know what you're doing. And remember, you have to tell them why they should come to you as opposed going to somebody else, right? Scenarios, referrals, very, very important. And referrals, not only word of mouth. Let people write things on your page. Let people write things on your page. As you brand, you say you rebranded yourself. Let people get to know you based on challenges that you've been able to overcome with, events, right? And also, I would say that another thing is that go beyond weddings. I don't know how, I know weddings is huge, but there are so many other events. There's quinceañeras. I hope I pronounced it well. There's the Jewish, the bus mitzvah or this one that they do at the age of 13 or so. There are so many events. There are events that they have in different communities, right? So I also would say that get into other communities and find out what is it that they need. It's going to be some work. You have to, get out there, let people know you, especially, and let them know that you can handle multicultural events, right? So just make sure, and you have to get your brand. Social media, you said limited resources, which is this is something that many small businesses which is an issue for many small businesses. So I would say, social media, word of mouth, getting into various platforms, and making sure that people get to know you, right? And that you don't have to spend so much doing that. All right. Okay. Yes. All right. So thank you so much for sharing with us. I'm hoping that that somebody out there actually got something today. True Elegance, she's actually, she's very awesome. I've known her briefly, but she said, okay, when we talked about this she wanted to come and share. And I really, really appreciate her because she's her issues is not unique to her. So I'm sure somebody listening, I believe that this will also impact them in a positive way. All right. Thank you, Ms. Shannon. And thank you for being here. So have a good one. Have a good one. Thank you so much. All right. Bye for now. Okay, so we're entering our last segment, and the segment of questions. Hopefully that has helped somebody. I'm happy she was able to share. Okay, so the segment of questions. The first question I have is, Do I need to have a retirement plan for all my employees, or can I have one just for myself? Okay, now there's an issue with having a retirement plan just for yourself. First of all, okay, let me first say it depends. That's my response. It depends. Now, there are actually certain retirement plans that you can have that will actually allow you to have a different retirement plan for yourself and then different for your employees. The big thing about having retirement plans is the non-discrimination clause, because there's a non-discrimination clause that says that you cannot treat highly compensated employees more, different from other staff. So highly compensated employees, there are different definitions. I'm not going to go into definition right now, but just know that that is a big issue. And most of the time, the highly compensated employees are the owners of the company, or maybe CEOs, or this is small business. So I will say small business SMEs. I will just say it really focuses on the owners of the company, because usually that's the highly compensated employees. So there's that clause, and there's a problem if you pay, you pay differently here, you pay differently, or you say, no, I'm not going to give my staff retirement, I'm only going to give myself, but of course there are ways to go around about it. So I would say talk to your financial advisor and let them choose the retirement plan that works for you. Of course, you have to let them know your objective. What is it that you're looking for? And they will look at what works best for you, because you can't just choose a retirement plan and say, okay, I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to do a retirement plan for my staff, but I want to do it for myself, but again, there are criteria, there are certain things that you can do. Of course, there are retirement plans that say that, okay, you can leave somebody out of retirement plan if they're a particular age, if they've worked less than a couple of, years or months. So there are different criteria, but you have to know what works best, right? What works best for you, because you don't want to be in a situation that you will end up getting in trouble, because if there's non-compliance, right, when it comes to retirement plans, the government is very strict here in the US. If there's non-compliance, you can actually be fined, right? And that is a lot of money. So you don't want to do that. So make sure when you're talking about retirement plans, you're very open and really, will I say open, or I would say that you really explain what you really need. Okay, what kind of retirement plan? Okay, now the next question is, my staff keep on quitting on me. How do I stop this? There's an episode that actually talks about staff quitting. When I say staff quitting, staff turnover. It's so expensive to have staff quit on you. Why is it expensive? Because the cost of looking for another staff, the downtime, then when a new staff comes, you have to go through background checks, you have to train that person, or put the person through, usually even if the person is trained, it takes some time for the person to understand the system. All right, usually, okay, sometimes you say the person can hit the ground running, but it takes some time. So you have to do your best to avoid staff turnover, that staff leaving. You have to do your best. Now, there's a whole episode on staff turnover. So I would suggest you go through my videos and look at the whole, the episode on staff turnover. It's very important for you to please look at that. I'll just give you some highlights. Number one, make sure you know who you're hiring. From the beginning, before you hire someone, make sure the person is really the staff you should hire. That's number one. And I tell companies, you might say you're a small business, but it's important for you to put it out there that you are, put it out there, put your values out there. Very important. Put it out there. Put your values out there. is very important. Put your values out there, because this person should know what your company stands for. You might say, oh, it's a small bit. No, put your value, because the person might not agree with your values. So put your values out there, your core values. And then also, please look beyond the qualification of this client or this employee or this new employee, not client, the new employee. Look beyond that before you even make the person an employee or the person that you want to hire, because so many people get they fix their eyes on the qualification of that new staff or the staff to be. They don't look at certain qualities. About example, can this person work with other people, right? Is that something the person can do? Is a team player? Is the person, is that what the person can do? I mean, you have to look at what is it. I mean, is a person someone that when there's deadlines, like in my firm, most accounting firms, that when there's deadlines, everybody's all hands on deck. We have to make sure we meet those deadlines. Okay, so it's very, very important. So the issue here is does that person able, because for me, I have to look, if I'm hiring anybody, deadlines, I have to find out if that person understands what it means for deadlines, for a person to meet deadlines, right? It's very, very important for the person to have all hands on deck, right? So that is so important. So you have to look at qualities beyond just the qualification of this staff. Then also, when you look at all that, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going through everything, but I'm just highlighting. How do you treat your staff? How do you treat your staff? What is, is their pay, their pay, is it competitive? Do you pay them market rates? Do you appreciate, or is only feedback when they don't do well? Do you recognize them when they excel? What do you celebrate them? Right? How do you treat your staff? Is it only about work? What about their families? Do you care about, if something's happening in their home, do you really care about, hope everything is okay? This is small businesses, remember, it's really close knit. So these are some things that you should look at. Again, please go through my videos and look for the one that pertains to human resources when it comes to staff turnover. I mean, I would not really say human resources, because that's not just hiring, but everything that pertains to staff. Human resources is one of them, then also maintaining that staff. So I would say, please look at it, because I have just a few minutes to just answer this question. So please make sure you go through my videos and look for the one that has to do with staff turnover, that you have to make sure you have your staff. I mean, staff leave here and there, but if it's quick, if they leave, they continue leaving, then there's a problem with your company. If staff don't stay, they continue, it's like they're leaving, they leave, they are, according to the staff, they keep on quitting on you, then there's a problem with your company, how the company handles staff. All right? It's so important for you to note that. Okay, so hopefully you go back to the drawing board, and hopefully you listen to my video or you watch my video, and then listen and watch my video, and then you can please implement some of those pointers, or all if possible, and go with it, so that hopefully with that you'll see some changes. All right. And then the next question I have, the last one, is that I have one major client who provides 70% of my revenue. How do I retain that client? Okay, one major client who provides 70% of my revenue. How do I retain that client? Okay, I would say this is, I'm going to answer this question in a different way. It's not really retaining, it's how do you build other clients? How do you build other clients? If you have one client that provides 70% of your revenue, that is an issue. That is an issue, because usually for businesses, 30% doesn't run the business. So you need to find out how do you increase your client base. That is the answer to this question. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't want this client to leave. Yes, even if you do your work and, make sure the client is happy and, but how about if the client eventually, maybe the client sells his business or her business to somebody else, and the person says, you know what, I already have my accountant. I'm not interested in using your accountant or your if the person is talking about maybe the CPA, or I'm not interested in using your law firm. I'm not interested in using your company to provide me with these products, because I have another person that provides me with this product and I've been using that person for years. So I would say that the question is not how do you maintain that major client, how do you build your clientele? I would say improve your marketing skills. Very important for you to look for ways to improve your marketing skills. Maybe you get someone else or a company, someone else to market or outsource your marketing, but you cannot, I repeat, you cannot depend on one client that gives you 70% of your revenue. So I'm hoping that you will not just say, oh yeah, I have this client, because again, anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. So, and of course, I had mentioned in one of my videos, but I'll reiterate here. Marketing could be done by social media. That's the cheapest way of marketing. Or if you have a staff, we talked about delegating. If you have a staff that is in-house, the person should step up and work and do and look for ways to market your product. It's very, very important. It's very bad for you to sit back and depend on one person that provides 70% of your revenue. All right. So hopefully, that has answered your question, and that please do not, sit back and just depend on that person that gives you 70% of revenue. It's good to be efficient for that client or for that customer. It's good to be efficient and do your best, but you should look beyond that customer. All right. Okay. So this was an interesting one. For the next 2 weeks, likely we'll take a short break from this program for the next 2 weeks, but we'll be up and running in February. Or will I say February? Oh no, the last day of the month. So the next 2 weeks, this program will not hold. So I know, just in case you tune in, just know that we'll be back on air on the 31st of January. Okay, so just trying to make some improvements here and there, and we have to go off air to do a couple of things, and there are some situations that I just have to take care of. So we just wanted to let everybody know, but definitely be back on January 31st with a more interesting and exciting program. We have so many people lined up for 2023, and I'm hoping that this will make a difference in somebody else, in some business's life. All right. And remember, just finally, right, to do well in any business, business that is listening, right? Any business owner that is listening today, to do well, you have to be intentional. You have to be intentional. Please remember, we could go on and on with advice and questions, and anybody could come in and speak and just explain, let us know about their issues. But the issue here is that you have to be intentional. All right. Intentional to say, I'm going to make a change. All right. Okay. So awesome. See you on January 31st. Yes. We're taking a 2 weeks break. We'll see you on January 31st. Bye for now.
Thanks for having me. Remember to join my live podcast on Tuesdays, 6 to 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. Visit my website, dreniadesnia.com, for details. Till next time, bye for now.